Alright, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Monday evening. I hope everyone has had a great mundane. We don't call it Monday, we call it mundane because why? It's mundane, monotonous. It's Monday, nobody likes it. Let me get my big fat head in the screen. Uh, today's Well, first I want to give a shout out. I want to say to the meanies, if you don't know, my friend Mike has a YouTube channel, the Solitary RPG. Go check it out. Super awesome site. I did a review of the Orbi dice, and Mike was one of the first people to respond and say, "Hey, if you don't want those, I'll be more than happy to take them off your hands." And lo and behold, I was like, "Well, is $80." Mike has sent me so much free shit over the years, dice, not dice, but miniatures, and he's given me paint recommended. He's a phenomenal painter, and he has a Facebook page where he hangs out with a couple other guys, and they paint almost every Saturday, or at least once or twice a month. Anyway, go check him out. I'll put a link down in the doobly doo. Mike, thank you for the shout out, brother. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the Orb Dice. He gave him a fair review as well. And so if go watch his review, you'll see that I was pretty bang on because Mike had pretty much the same opinion, although he likes weird, funky dice, and so do I. I have a number of them, but that one just didn't do it for me. And I think part of it was the aggravation for waiting almost 3 years for a Kickstarter to fulfill, and when it fulfilled, it was very lackluster, and the dice just didn't roll well. But anyway, that being said, today's video du jour is from, um, gosh, I don't know an oldie but a goodie, but a redo, a version 2. For those that don't know, Mr. Mean is a Cthulhu fan. But I don't like playing Cthulhu. I like Delta Green. I'm really big. I really like Delta Green. My friend Darren runs a phenomenal Delta Green game. I've only got to play in it a couple times. I'm a big fan of witchcraft, which is kind of along that Cthulhu, but it's more modern day witches and the supernatural. But I put it in that horror genre, and as well as the kind of CthulhuTech because it does deal with otherworldly demons and stuff like that. So I'm a big fan of that genre. George Valikos and the guys over at Eden Studios put out phenomenal work. Alex Urquhart, I don't even know if he's still in the RP industry. They've been really quiet. But regardless, a game that hit my radar several years ago and I fell in love with the books was CthulhuTech. Um, and I had a hard time getting all the books. I still don't have all the books. I have the core book, I have the GM screen with all the GM inserts, and let me tell you, that was a hell of a GM screen. And then I have like one or two of the supplements. It's on the shelf back there. Um, I think it's Mindfire Games. Let me double check. I think they're the current publisher, Wildfire Games, and I think they've been the publisher all along. I can't remember, but what's important here is they're coming out with a 2.0. They are changing the system. It used to be a dice pool, and you had a bunch of different ways you could roll up and get your results and stuff when you did things. I had mistakenly in one of my previous videos said it was a percentage based system. It's not. I'm thinking of a different sci-fi game that was percentage based. Cthulhu Tech was kind of a dice pool. You got all your dice together. You found a target. GM assigned a target number, and you rolled your dice pool. And there were numerous ways you could get your total. You could go with the highest die. You could go with a chain, like a straight. Like a 4, 5, 6. If you're rolling more than 3 dice. There was a couple of different options. If you got multiples of the same die, you could take those and roll them up. It was awkward. Let's just say that the rules, while very verbose, were not, I hate to say this, they weren't written well. And it was all over the place. And creating a character was painful. So they've gone back to the drawing board, and they've come out with version 2.0. And I have You can download this. I'll put a link in the doobly-doo to Drive Through RPG where you can download a free copy of the playtest rules. They're getting ready to go to Kickstarter in Q4 of 2024. Um, and I believe I've got a review copy. It doesn't have finished art. They did say I could use some screenshots and stuff, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick to just the official playtest because the art may change, the layout may change, and I don't want to give you a misrepresentation. But I will say the primer that I got, the pre-production copy that I got, a PDF, is amazing looking. And you can see, obviously, it's a little rough and it needs some editing and some layout design, but it's looking real good. Now, in all fairness, the first book, version one, looked amazing. The art was fantastic in it. And I think I even said so in my initial review. So, what I'm going to do is share my screen and we're going to take a look at the playtest. For it. And I think if you're into this kind of thing, you're gonna like it. And I can't say enough good things. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop down to the screen. I'm gonna share my screen. Feel free to pause and look at stuff where you want. This is the playtest copy or preview copy, and it's CthulhuTech: The Shadow War. There's also a pre-Kickstarter sign-up page where you can get notified when the Kickstarter goes launch. I'll put that down in the doobly-doo. If you're on my Discord, Mr. Mean Speaks, let's talk about RPGs. I put a link there in the publisher's page. So there's a subtle hint to go join the Kickstarter. There'll be join the Discord page. There'll be a link in the doobly-doo here in the show notes after I publish this because I put it in all my videos. So we're going to drop down to the screen and we're going to see here is the CthulhuTech. And I got the web page behind it. So let me do that. And so you can, it's wildfire.games /CTech, CTech's sign up. Or Kickstarter CS, let's try from the start here. Wildfire.games CTech KS Kickstarter sign up, and you can go in here and you can fill out all the information, and you'll find out more about it as it's done. They War versus Time. They have a bunch of other games and stuff, so you'll be able to check it out. But what we're really here to look at is, again, you can download this from the Discord page, and you can see this. So there's the front page, and I gotta say, it's phenomenal. The art in here is, if you're into Cthulhu, if you're into mecha, if you're into slightly sci-fi future, but not so far that it's unbelievable, this is the game for you. Conspiracies, governmental espionage, secret wars, you've got all of it. And again, look at the art. A tale older than time. Fear of the Dark is, let's see here. Hold on. Let me look at so cool. Quick start adventure. Oh man, I'm sorry. My page is jumping all around. It's the way the PDF is laid out. The Worms of Nergal. So there you go. This will be the back of the preview. I'm not going to read it. My voice is a little shot. It's been a very long day at work, and I am pooped. So I'm going to leave it there for a second. You can always pause the video and you can read it yourself. It should be, it's big enough you can read it. Matthew Grau created this, and he's obviously done all of the writing in. I don't think I've ever actually talked. Hey, I do this for a living. Hey, I haven't actually talked to Matthew. I have emailed him in previous past, and because I was asking, I was like, hey man, we haven't seen anything from CthulhuTech in quite a while. What's going on? And he did email me back. I think I might have emailed him through Facebook. I don't remember. But I did email him or correspond with him, and he did say big things on the horizon, and that was about a year ago. So it's taken a little while, but the art is phenomenal. So you get your introduction here. There's all these glyphs on the side. I think the layout of the book is gonna be phenomenal. It's gonna be its own thing with these little subsections here. all kinds of things. But the first thing I want to get into that what at first, I wasn't wild about this because I did kind of like the old mechanic of the dice pool and in the various ways that you could pull up your dice, and you still come to the same conclusion. It's just there are many different paths to get there, and I kind of like that free form. They decided one of the I don't want to say complaints, but one of the constructive criticisms they had was the mechanics, that they were kind of all over the place. And so they've streamlined the mechanics. And so what they've gone with is you can use whatever dice you want. You want to use D20s? You can use D20s. You want to use D4s? Use D4s. You want to use D6s? Use D6s. The only caveat is they all have to be the same. So it's all D20s, all D10s, all D12s, whatever size die, just an even die, which most dice are, unless you get Xochi dice, Dungeon Crawl Classic dice, which have D3, D7, D9. The point being is they have to be an even-sided die, and you have to have multiples. So I'm a huge D10 fan. I like the D10 and I like the D12. So for my games, I would probably use one or the other. You could use D20s. There's a lot of people that like to roll a shitload of D20s. So whatever you do, just stick with it. But the nice part is if you've got 3 or 4 friends playing, they all don't have to use the same dice. If your buddy likes D4s, he can use D4s. He just has to roll multiples because this is a pass or fail, even in odds kind of system. And it says it right there. It says CthulhuTech is dice agnostic. So you can use any kind of dice as long as they are even-sided. You'll need a pool of around 10. So if you're playing games like Legends of the Five Rings, any of the vampire, werewolf, mage, you're going to have a shit ton of D10s laying around anyway. So there you go. It's rebooted and revised. This isn't just the second edition of CthulhuTech, but rather a game reimagined and rebuilt from the ground up. If you're familiar with the previous version of CthulhuTech, most of the history and setting will be familiar to you, though it has matured in tone, been expanded, and even been retconned in some places. The timeline of CthulhuTech has advanced to 2088, so all the material from previous metaplot books has been integrated and has evolved. The game mechanics, on the other hand, have changed completely and present you with new, interesting, and streamlined options for play. And I am going to say, just before I started recording this video, I went back and looked at my old book, CthulhuTech version 1, and yeah, I was reading the dice mechanics and my eyes started to glaze over. Now, granted, I'm tired. It's been a long day at work. And my eyes started to glaze over. I was like, oh yeah, I remember why I couldn't get anybody to play this game, because the mechanics were confusing at best. That being said, the new mechanics are anything but confusing. Through this introduction to play, you're going to learn while you play. It gives you characters and adventures. There's a bunch of pre-made characters in here. You're going to have a player. The Kickstarter is going to fund a player's book and a game master's book. So you'll have a wealth of material to keep your game and characters fresh for years to come. But first, try before you buy. And that's what excites me. I want to be able to test drive this. I want to look at it. I'm actually going to run this, I think, this Thursday on the channel. And I'll try to record it. Whenever I have other people on the channel, for some reason, my audio goes wonky. And I haven't figured it out yet. But on Discord, it seems to work okay. So I'm hoping I can get enough players. And even if I only get 1 or 2 players, I'll still run it. It'll just be a very brief play, maybe 2 hours or whatever. But I'd like to kick the tires and see how we like it. So let's dive through this. So you have, again, the art is phenomenal. So for those that aren't aware, CthulhuTech, again, set in 2088, so it's a little bit in the future. Monsters are real. Cthulhu, the mythos, is real. And so you've got this state of emergency where we are dealing with the great old ones and their minions, and we have gene spliced, manipulated some of that, and we've created our own monsters, and these monsters fight for us. And so you have the ability to play one of those where you can, they're called taggers, Tager. And so you have your human persona, like what I'm standing here, and then you can shift into this tagger, which is just, there's ones built for speed, there's one built for muscle, there's ones built for, you know, range combat and physical combat and, up close and personal. Um, and so you have all of that ability. And of course, the core book is going to give you the ability to make those characters. Um, and there's qualities, there's attacks. You can see there's all there. You get these are all like NPCs, or pre-gens, and then you get their tagger stats, and then the qualities, the symbiote, and all that fun stuff. All the tagger special abilities, and some of this shit is super cool, guys. Flicker. You project a mystical stealth field, allowing you to flicker out of existence and become more than just invisible. While concealed, you may use the Be Sneaky simple action in plain sight with Edge +2. So that's a little bit of the mechanics there. I don't want to get too much into mechanics because we're just trying to show you that this is a cool setting and you should get hyped to play it. It's dice agnostic, and you can kind of, just from the primer alone, I've gotten a ton of ideas. So I'm super excited. What I need to do is print this. It's 39 pages. So I'm going to print this because I prefer a physical copy. And so when I run this Thursday night, I'll be able to have a physical copy. So I think I need to work on that. Probably send that to print. There's all kinds of stuff here. Simple actions, notice details. And again, if I remember correctly, it's a dice pool. Let me just double check. Players can work amongst themselves. You can assign characters based on your understanding of the players. Okay, yeah. Your attributes found on the first page of your character sheet measure your awareness, physique, presence, and tenacity. Awareness measures your intellectual, physique measures your strength and agility, presence measures your force of personality, tenacity is your will and endurance. Skills are rated from a scale of 1 to 5, with areas of training in which your character is capable. With 17 skills to learn, you might have a knack for engineering, be capable of piloting anything with an engine, hack networks with your computers and communication powers, or know how to throw down with body fighting. Your skills are found on the first page of your character sheet. Take a quick look at what you can do. Qualities, these are special abilities, and every character has several. Most are positive assets, so you might have a network of contacts, be hard to kill, talk to animals, or fade from notice. Some characters will end up with a drawback which impacts them negatively, such as Shadow Walker, which is a mystical form of bad luck. Your qualities are found on the last page of your character sheet. Take a quick look at them, but don't worry about memorizing any of them. We'll call them out when they're useful in the adventure. Are any of them confusing? So give the players a couple of minutes to internalize the knowledge transfer and clarify anything. So they're walking you through this. This is what I like about this. It's holding your hand as a GM, and it's telling you how to prep your players. This to me is a good play test. It's talking to the GM directly, and then the GM interprets it and gives it to the player, regurgitates it to the players. This is a good thing. And then of course, you print this and you give everybody a copy, so you're all on the same page. So there's just a bunch of stuff. So as a GM, you'll set up a difficulty based on the action. In this case, you'll set a basic difficulty of 3, challenging. You don't need to have players roll when the difficulty is average of or less, 1 or 2 successes. So 1 or 2 successes, no big deal. 3 or more successes, the players need to roll, and that's where they're going to form a dice pool. In the case, the notice details, a simple action recommends using awareness as the ability and alertness as the skill. Solanade is the scout of the group with an awareness of 6 and an alertness of 3, giving her a sizable dice pool of 9. She also has the sight specialization under alertness, which gives her another dice for a total of 10. Have her roll the 10 dice. Your difficulty for this action is 3. So once you have your difficulty, the players, I'm just reading here. I should have read this. Notice details. Okay, let's see. Boop. All simple acts, the hidden, approaching the dread drop. Armed with your false credentials. I want to see where it says what you do, and I'm not seeing it. First action you take before entering the park is to see each who has a specialization among your skills, which represents a specific part of your overall. Let's see, maybe I went too far. I want to see how you compose your dice pool. Dice pool. Most of the shots are taken in this place. I rate on a scale of 1 to 5 area. There's training in which your character skills are balance qualities. If I remember correctly, it's a dice pool. You put your dice together, and then you're looking for evens and odds. And then, of course, you go from there. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a stat and a skill. That's going to create a dice pool. The Worms of Nerdal. I love the title of this adventure. That's the floor plan. The clock doesn't start ticking until the players get close to their goal. Nutrient bags. Alrighty, and I'm leaving this on the screen so you guys can work with it as well. Yeah, set to go to 3. In this case, note a simple action recommends using awareness as the attribute and alertness as the skill. So then go ahead and roll your 10 dice. Your difficulty for the action is 3. Here the players make the roll. Given that she has 10 dice to roll, the odds are in her favor. If she fails the roll, there's no consequence, but you might be cagey to keep her nervous. There are a total of 6 simple actions that you could take. While you won't go into detail right here. Simple actions: notice, demonstrate confidence, get physical, use force of personality, be sneaky, or push yourself. So I'm just trying to see. It doesn't say. I want to see. It doesn't really say what happens. Should have read this before I started the video, but you guys are learning along with me. So a lot of cool stuff here. All right, so here's an example. To determine if the journey goes as planned, have Nevada take the Be Sneaky simple action using his shifted physique plus athletics. He has the lowest dice pool in the group, 2, and rolls against a difficulty of 3. If he fails, something is dislodged from the shaft and is going to clatter down, making an unfortunate mess of noise. Give Zhang Wei an opportunity to catch it by taking a Be Physical simple action using his shifted physique, athletics of a dice pool of 9 against a difficulty of 3. All right. And I'm just trying to see. They don't talk about how you succeed. And I know they do, I'm just missing it. I don't want to, because this is the adventure, so I don't want to give too much away by. Both combatants roll the dice, subtracting the defender's hits from the attackers, then consult the combat table for the result. All right. All right. Okay. When you need to resort to violence, use this action. This is a result of your advice. So you're going to subtract your defender's hits from yours, and I'm just judging by my knowledge of gaming. You're using even dice, D8s, D12s, D10s, D4s, D6s, whatever you have, whatever you're using. And you're basically evens are good, odds are bad. And you're going with evens as your success. So, any even number counts as a success. Same, your defender is going to roll whatever their defense is, and you're going to subtract whatever their defense was at the time against your successes. If you have any left, then you succeeded, you hit them. If you don't, then you hit or you did no damage or you missed them, especially if they're trying to do a dodge or a athletics roll. And it's pretty much that simple. Now, there are talents and abilities and things like that that are going to get in the way and help you do things, but they give you, this is a pre-done adventure. Everything's done for you pretty much. You just have to play it. They talk about edges. So in this case, if you shapeshift into your tagger and you're moving faster than them, faster than speed 6, you get an edge of +1, which means it counts as a success. So it's pretty cut and dry. The adventure is laid out really well. Yeah, agrarian food guards. I mean, oh, look at the art. Jeez. Encounter and aftermath. Uh, uh, Core mechanics. These quick start rules utilize only one of 3 mechanical frameworks that you can use to play CthulhuTech. In addition to the fundamental system presented here, there are 2 other ways. No way is better or worse. So they still kept with the 3 ways to play the game, just like the original one. The avant-garde system is a story-driven in its design. Dice rolling is minimized and players manage their abilities as resources, instead spending shots to guarantee success. This option is the most narrative. So typo there. Most narrative of the 3 systems, also plays as a faster pace. The mixed system is a combination of the 2 plays. Roll dice for all actions until they want to guarantee a success. Then they use shots as resources to forego rolling dice. This is a great option for transitioning traditional players to narrative system. Tagger mechanics. Similar to the way that there are 3 ways to approach mechanics, there are 3 ways to approach taggers. These quick start rules utilize streamlined taggers, which is the easiest to create and manage. Dynamic taggers take the most time to create and manage, but are good for longer running games and have the greatest potential for growth. Using a pool of points, you'll build your tagger to a more customized fashion. Blended taggers are the middle ground between ease and customization, good for groups who want more options without having to use the full rule set. Using a pool of points, you'll build your tagger with some customization. So, and then there's a ton more. It's just a wealth of information in this book. I'm going to go back to that. Well, I want to scroll through here so you can see some of the art. I don't think there's actually not a whole lot of art in this one. Yeah, there we go. Some people undergoing the change mid-transformation from their human form to their tagger form. And I don't think there's a nice little city piece. Some people going about their everyday lives in the future. And then there's moments in the rite of union. And this is when you merge with your symbiote to become a tagger. So, and then they go through attacks and qualities and stuff like that. So I've clearly got some reading to do if I'm going to run this Thursday night for my channel, but I'm excited. The art is just, I mean, I can't get past this piece right here. Right there. I love that. I can't wait to see what the Kickstarter funds. I'm hoping they'll do a GM screen. The original GM screen was amazing. It was very thick. It was very well done, and it came with a bunch of inserts that showed you the size and everything of like the Tigers and the Kaiju or whatever you want to call them, the big ones. I forgot what they call them, and I don't think they mention it in here. So this is a re-envisioning and an evolution of CthulhuTech version 1. It's a slightly few more years in the future. And I think it's going to be a cool system. I kind of at first, like I said, I reached out to Mindbane, who is the gentleman that I'm dealing with from Wildfire Games, who asked me if I would want to do a review, and I said wholeheartedly yes, because, well, it's just freaking cool. And he sent me the playtest documents, and like I said, I am allowed to show some of them, but they asked that we not show too much because the layout's not completely finished. And so I just figured showing you this would be much better. So we have babbled on for about 30 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'm just going to say I apologize for my poor performance, but I hope you get my excitement and you see the quality of art, the layout potential, and the mechanics of this game are going to be pretty slick. If I like a stat and a skill system, you're going to roll it. You're going to chuck up to 10 dice. It's going to be pretty cool. You're going to have talents and traits and edges that are going to allow you to modify your dice rolls. So I think it's going to be a very cool system. I can't wait to see what the book looks like. I'm not sure if they're sending me a review copy of the book or not. I know I did get a preview of the early work in progress, but I don't know if I'm going to get a finished copy or not. I really hope I do because I would like to highlight it on the channel. And it is a genre and a theme that I'm really into. I like that kind of macabre, the monster in you, like vampire and werewolf. I kind of this is my jam, and I hope that you check it out. And if you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed this little snippet, go download the primer. And like I said, I'm going to put a link to Drive Through RPG for it in the doobly-doo, and a link to the Kickstarter request to be notified in the show notes, so you can check it out. Let these guys know that Mr. Mean sent you, and I think this is going to be a cool product when it comes. So with that, I'm going to bid you adieu, and I'm going to say thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I'm going to end the scene. I had to look at the thing. I'm tired, guys. It's been a long day. I hope you feel my excitement for this, and I hope you'll join me in checking this out as it progresses to Kickstarter and we go through the motions and see everything that is going to happen, because I think it's going to be a wild ride, and I think it's going to be a really cool game. So go check it out. Tell them Mr. Mean sent you. And as always, peace and hair grease. And remember, Mr. Mean says, be nice. Good night, everybody.